What's up, good people? Welcome back and welcome to my channel. If you're new, I'm Michaela, and here on my channel we talk about all things faith, lifestyle, the home, parenting, and just so many things. And we're back with Tab in this video.
What up?
How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Good.
Good deal.
So from our last video, the people requested, that we do a part 2. So
yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, we did request that they requested a part 2 if they wanted to hear it.
Yeah. And first off, thank y'all for the feedback. Like so much positive feedback. Such just an overwhelming amount of encouragement and support that y'all continue to give us. And we don't take it lightly. Like y'all are why we do it. So thank you.
On the last video, you talked about the 4 different steps, I think, that got you closer to God.
Yeah.
Which is self-reflection, posturing your heart, obeying God, and being a minister where you are. That sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now that we got those 4 steps out of the way for people that are wanting to have a relationship with God, let's talk about the relationship piece. I know one question that's prevalent today with millennials and Gen Zs is the difference between relationship and religion. I know that's a touchy topic, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And it might be a thin or thick line between. In regards to just how religion, the relationship and religion, and people that are wanting a relationship, but people are scared of religion.
Or scarred by religion.
Or scared or scarred by religion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's been a conversation I know I've been having with, or that I've heard people have, or, I've been in conversations and been in rooms where people are shying away from religion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I want to get your opinion on that as to why, or how do you feel about the difference between relationship and religion?
Yeah, that's a tough subject because I think it's unfortunately what's pulling people away from pursuing the relationship is that they think that God is religion, Yeah. So what is it like? Over 2,000 religions.
4,600.
Okay, 4,600 religions. I think that religion is all about rules and regulations. That's how people view it.
Yeah.
People view it as, in order for me to have a relationship with God, I have to adhere to rules and regulations. And if I don't, then I'm going to hell.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sound accurate enough.
So, and then when you think about it, it's 4,600 religions. So a lot of people have created their own religions, have been created as man's way on how they think they should get closer to God. Like it's more so serving God because you think you have to, not because you want to. And so I think that that's what religion unfortunately has become in people's eyes, is a list of rules that if I don't follow, I can't get close to God. If I do follow, then I will get close to God.
Yeah.
When relationship is, I don't have to, I want to.
I want to have a relationship.
Right.
I want to go down that path.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Right.
And it's a lot of good reasons to go down that path. But I think we in a show me type world today where people got to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
But I think, in regards to religion or relationship, you really just have to believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's simple as that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Simple as it might be. Like you have, that's why it's called a believer, because you either believe it or you don't.
Or you don't. I think we got to ask the question too. Do people really believe in God?
Yeah. I think people believe. I think it's hard to not believe in God. I think so.
I think so too.
But is it hard to not believe in religion, or to be? I don't even know what the word they're calling it now. But is it hard to not be that? Not necessarily. Not when there's 4,600 different religions out there.
Right.
You would say that people are afraid of religion because of the boundaries that are put in place, but I think there are boundaries put in place, if you believe in God.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. So how do you decipher between the two, or what do you think? Yeah, how do you decipher between the two?
Yeah.
That's a thin line I was talking about. How do you know?
That's a good question, man. I think that because there is a healthy fear of God that we should all have. Like literally it says in the Bible, the beginning of wisdom starts with the fear of God. I think what has helped me is that it's the fear is more of losing his love versus the fear of being thrown in hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that has been what's helped me is like the boundaries that he's set in place are literally what's best for us, not things that he's trying to take away so we can't have a good life.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And so I think that, okay, like even if we take, a husband and a wife, for instance, there is a rule in our marriage that I should not cheat on you, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to not cheat on you because it's only a rule. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to cheat on you because I love you. I don't want to cheat on you because it'll hurt you. I don't want to cheat on you because it's wrong. I don't want to cheat on you because I couldn't live with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that if we all have rules in so many situations in life, but I don't not cheat on you just because it's a rule in marriage.
Yeah.
Like who would, like who wants that?
Yeah.
That's not a real relationship.
Yeah.
So I think that that's the difference in religion versus relationship, because Tab is right. There are still boundaries and rules that, God puts in place for us, but they're out of love for us. And we have to stay within those boundaries for the fear of losing his love and protection versus the fear of damnation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So basically you saying it's not, the rules aren't put in place to restrict you from living a good life.
Right.
Or having fun.
Right.
Or doing things. It's just a way to do everything.
Right.
And God's way is always the right way.
God's way is the best way. We just were exposed to the enemy's way, unfortunately, before we received God's way. You know what I'm saying? Like we were exposed to the fun of life of getting drunk or having sex before marriage or this or that. So those things are what we have identified as fun because that's what we experienced first. But when you have God's fun, you realize like those things are literally like they're just pleasure for the moment, but like you're not dealing with nothing on the inside. So
let me ask you, so is that religion or relationship?
What?
Like what you just discussed in regards to like having sex before marriage, getting drunk, and things of that sort.
Once you understand why, it's relationship. If you never understand why God doesn't want you to have sex outside of marriage, that's religion. But once you seek the relationship and you can understand the why behind it, that's where the relationship comes into place. Oh, God don't want me to have sex before marriage because there are spiritual attachments to previous sexual partners that may attach themselves to me and now they're in my marriage now. Or like it's a whole deep side to sex. Like we don't even have to go there today. But like, oh, God doesn't want me to get drunk because I actually make the worst decisions of my life when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Oh, God don't want me to overeat because it leads to diabetes and heart failure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but that's relationship. Religion is, man, okay, God don't want me to get drunk. I don't know why. I don't know.
He tripping.
He just tripping. He don't want me to have fun. Oh, God don't want me to have sex before marriage. Okay, he just like those are rules and regulations, but without the relationship, you cannot see the why behind it.
Yeah, that's a good answer. It's a good answer there, boy. It's a good answer.
Yeah.
That makes sense though. That makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I think because we were talking about this study, right? That not even a study, but just an observation that we've seen over the years that men don't go to church.
Mm-hmm. Black men
don't go to church. I wouldn't say don't go at all. I mean, because it is black men that go to church, but as far as like the ratio of black women that go to church compared to black men, I think it's kind of night and day.
Yeah.
Growing up, people you grow up, you just didn't see it, and you still don't see it a lot for the most part. Football on Sunday. Yeah. Not that that's more important than God, but
it
ain't even close. It's a distraction.
It's a distraction.
It's reason. It's stuff put in place Well, men don't even go. Men don't go to church.
I think that men, yes, but also just like you said, our generation, millennials, Gen Z, a lot of people have church hurt, and a lot of people equate church hurt to God.
Yeah.
God didn't hurt you like the humans inside that church did. Whether they unfortunately presented God's word wrong to you, or whether they unfortunately did something that was outside of, God's character, whatever the case may be, I think that we need to make sure that we're not putting our church hurt and blaming God for that. Because I hear the word church hurt so much, and I know it's a real thing. I know people get misled by preachers. I know people feel judged when they go to church. I know people feel like church is all rules and regulations, that if I don't adhere to these, then I'm going to hell. So I'm going to just stay away. I'm going to stay away from it in general. And I think that goes a lot back into like the first thing that we talked about with relationship versus religion, is that a lot of churches unfortunately teach religion and not relationship, to kind of scare us into doing what we are supposed to be doing, Yeah. Focus on seeking your relationship with him first, and then seek wisdom from God to lead you to the right church, Your church will help you on your walk for sure. It will help you with community. It'll give you a place of like where you can go worship and hear a word. But at the end of the day, you still have to have your personal relationship with God. Point blank, period.
Yeah.
You cannot look for your personal relationship in God through a church. Your church will help you on your walk. Your church will give you community. You can serve at church, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, you got to have your relationship first.
Yeah, a man gonna let you down every time.
Every time.
So there has to be a relationship piece of it that's pursued if you are serious about it, pursuing it. You know what I'm saying? If we still discussing like relationship versus religion, when it comes to the Bible, it's been on my New Year's Eve. It's been on my New Year's resolution probably for the last 10 years.
To read it?
To read it.
Yeah.
Every year, it's like, bro, I'm going to read the Bible. The whole Bible this year. Yeah. I promise I'm gonna be done with it. And then when I start, even when I try to listen to it, I just put the sound on and try to listen to it, and then they be starting talking about Beersheba, Joab, and all this type of stuff, and then I end up kind of snoozing off, falling off, not consuming the information to the point where I'm like, man, how you know all this stuff out of the Bible? Like, it was that hard for me to read.
Yeah.
Am I that far away, or it was, am I just not consuming the Bible the right way? And I think you do a better job right now, as in regards to studying the Bible and figuring out how to read it, what books are to be read first, what books to be read last, whatever it might be. How do you suggest one start to read the Bible?
So
I asked that question, and I'm gonna give a suggestion because mine be a little shorter than her, probably.
Yeah.
So what helped me to learn to even read the Bible, because I just actually started. It's February, so the New Year resolution. I'm trying to get to it. So I learned something from you the other day, probably like a month ago, that the New Testament started after Matthew. Well, in Matthew, well, after Malachi. Mm-hmm. And I would always try to start, just open the Bible and read it, and I couldn't really understand it. But I think the New Testament is more digestible. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
All right. Well, she don't have to.
No, I agree with.
No, I'm just saying you don't have to. I'm just telling you.
Right.
So for me, it's more digestible. So I mean, all the stuff that you hear about in regards to, I think that's when Jesus was introduced, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I started with the New Testament, and that's how I'm learning about all the stories that we've heard about and all the parameters that we boundaries and parameters that we are to live our life by. So I started in the New Testament, and that's just kind of the only tip that I have. Obviously, you might have a lot more, so I'll let you expand on that.
I think what helped me out was it's an app called the Bible Project. So for me, I can read something, but I need an explainer too. Like I need someone to explain what I just read when you're reading something such as the Bible, which is literally like the book of life. So look into the Bible Project, and they walk you through They have videos to go along with each day of reading. They have like explanations that go along with each day of reading. So that's what helped me. And the way that they framed the Bible was truly in a story. So I could finally see like, okay, this is just not a book of random chapters put together that don't make any sense.
No.
We all know the Bible started off with Genesis, and then before you know it, you're in Chronicles, and you're reading, through lists of names and how they built buildings. So you can get lost in it in a sense, but I think if you go into it with some help from either like a Bible plan that has devotions or the Bible Project. The Bible Project is really, really good with the videos, so I would suggest that for sure. Or like for Tab, like he started with the New Testament, and I think that that's helpful as well, and you can work your way back or ask God, like, hey God, where should I start in the Bible?
Yeah.
Ask him. He might have an exact place that he wants you to start. He might want you to start in Proverbs, which is a book full of wisdom. He may want you to start in Matthew, which is the book that starts about Jesus' life. Or he may say, no, I want you to go to Genesis and read about how I created the world first. So I think that it's a lot of different ways. Seek wisdom from God first and see where he leads you. But I think one or two practical ways is the Bible Project app, starting in the New Testament.
You think starting with the New Testament is a good way to get started? I mean, that's just how I got started.
I think it's personal. Yeah, I think it's personal. Because like when I was for real ready to read the Bible, I wanted to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
But that was just me personally. Like for you have been able to dive into the New Testament way deeper than you were with the Old Testament. So
Yeah.
I think it just kind of depends on you. And like, that's why I said seek wisdom from God first.
Yeah, yeah. And to provide context as far as like backstories of why we even started having these discussions, because we have these discussions quite often
Yeah.
internally in our house. Because, I'm one of them people that we talked about last video, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's in step one or, starting the steps. So
Yeah.
don't think that I'm like her just yet when I'm not. That's why these questions are genuine questions that I have.
Yeah.
Because, I'm probably like a lot of people out there, trying to figure it out. And, don't want y'all to think that we are sitting here, as Bible teachers or,
Please
people that know the answers to all of this. When I don't know any answers.
I know a little.
She know a little bit, but I'm not the one with the answer.
Yeah.
And but I do want to be a vessel of knowledge whenever I do get it to share the answer or share the good news. But hopefully that come later on in the process. But so a lot of the answers that we need are essentially in books, because I mean there are people that have gone through the exact same thing that you've gone through 100 years ago.
Yeah.
That write books, that write it down to say, hey, this is gonna happen. This might happen. This might happen. This might happen too. And this is what I did. And this is might be a good idea for you to do it also. And I think I look at the Bible the same way, even though I just started reading it. I do know what the Bible is, and I feel like it's a book of life.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as I've read a bunch of books and I understand what the message was.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to understand what the message is in this one, but I do know that it's a book of life. And
Yeah.
Why are you smiling like that?
Because I think it's so crazy that we have, like Tony Evans say, like we have a manual and a map for our life in the Bible, and we literally don't ever read it.
Yeah, facts.
Like,
Facts.
it's literally the book of life, y'all, that explains everything that we experience in earth because it's written by the Creator.
Yeah.
So that's why I just laugh on the inside now, because we'll read all the books in the world, but we won't read the Bible.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. I think and people talk bad about the Bible and they never even read it.
They've heard a scripture that sounds crazy, because it's a lot of crazy. Like if you just read some scriptures, it's crazy.
It sounds a little different.
So in your Bible, like people, people
it's
definitely say,
yeah, and that's the thing, like
bro, you never read the Bible before.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and I've never read it, but you won't hear me
You're
talking.
reading it.
I'm reading it. You won't hear me bashing something that I've never even tried. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't People don't even read the Bible, and they have so many bad things to say about it, and you never even read it to understand what's happening or take place. People would rather go and try to read the Quran and study other religions to try to replace the one that you've known, and you ain't even tried the one that you've known.
I say that all the time. Like I say that to Tap all the time. Like, we will literally give everything in life a try except God.
Yeah.
Meaning, we'll get, and therapy's great, but we'll give therapy a try. We'll give
the
weed a try. We'll give all the self-help books a try. We'll give all the everything. We'll give crystals a try. We'll give all this stuff a try. But I don't know, people don't want to try out God. That's crazy. But I think that's because, I think it's all because God has been presented in the wrong way to so many people.
Yeah.
It's more of like this mean judge from the sky, like, where it's like, he's a loving father from the sky. And once you have kids, you know that we create boundaries for our kids for their sake, for the goodness of them. It's not because we're mom and dad who don't want our kids to have fun. No, we want y'all to have safe fun.
Yeah.
I want y'all to have good fun.
Yeah. I think you touched on it, and I think we can probably wrap it up there. But I'm not a big fan of like talking about something and not necessarily talking about a solution.
Yeah.
I'm not a good fan of hammering a problem and never actually suggesting a solution or trying to come up with one. So I know that we can't solve it. We can't solve the problem in regards to like people that just don't believe in certain things, religion, Bible, and God in general. But we can start with people that watch the channel. You know what I'm saying? People that we are around ourselves, because we still going through it, still trying to figure it out.
Right.
But I think I might have heard something or read something that said that during the pandemic, one of the top things people searched for was God. In relationship with God.
I think we heard about that in church.
Was God in a relationship with God. So that means people want to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? People want to learn this information, but how? Because it's been presented. As we talked about a lot of topics in the video, it's been presented God has a negative stigma right now, unfortunately. I wouldn't even say God. I would say religion has a negative stigma right now around with the world and the Gen Zs and the millennials and people in general. Yeah. So I think part of the solution would just be us having these conversations right now and represent God in a different way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like regular people having regular discussions about God. You know what I'm saying? So I challenge everybody watching this video, man, just have a regular discussion with your friends, spouse, parents, kids, whatever it may be, to just get, the conversation started. Because a lot of the times, the hardest conversations to have are the most prominent, like they need to be had. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my 2 cents, man. Hopefully that was something good to part ways with y'all.
That was good.
Well, I know we probably speaking real high level on a lot of these topics, but this is probably what you're gonna get out of Kayla's channel. Like, she's gonna go into detail. Yeah. She gonna continue to make videos and go into detail around some of the topics that we've had. So I think these are a couple good interviews to get started, get moving in the right direction, and I don't know, we might do some more interviews or do some more stuff, but whatever. Yeah. Whatever's in the plans in the future, it'll happen. But
for sure.
I enjoyed y'all.
I enjoyed this convo too. And I think I want to leave y'all with 2 things. Just to show y'all how loving God is. So, like, we all know about the 10 commandments, and I think this will just help summarize like how loving God is. Like, of all the 10 commandments, he has one command that's the greatest, and he has one that follows right after. So if you go to Matthew 22, verse 37 through, let's just say 40. All right. So Jesus replied, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. A second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. The entire law and all the demands of the prophets are based on these 2 commandments." So what stands out to me about those two being the two greatest commandments is the word love. It's an action word. God wants us to love him first and then love our neighbor secondly. And I'm going to sound corny, but just imagine if this was a world full of love, we would have none of the hatred, division, racism, sex trafficking. Like, we wouldn't have any of that. So we have a loving Father who created 10 whole commandments, but the two that he highlighted as his greatest were action words of love. Like, God is love. So that's what I just want to leave y'all with. Remember that you have a loving Father who is all about love, all about wanting a relationship with you. So I just want to leave y'all with what God's two greatest commandments are. It's to love, y'all. Just love. I know it's corny, but it's the truth. All right, so we hope y'all enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see y'all in our next video. Bye.